call the Town of Rome Board meeting to order on Thursday, July 16, 2020 at 6:37 p.m. We will start with a roll call to my far right.
Harley here.
Hogan here.
Johnson here.
Iverson here. Commissioner here.
Thank you. Amy, could you certify the posting of the meeting, please?
I certify that on Wednesday, July 15th, 2020, the amended agenda for the Town of Rome Board meeting for Thursday, July 16th, 2020 was emailed to the Wisconsin Rapids Tribune at 10:42 a.m., posted at Rome Town Hall at 8:52 a.m., at Fritzl's Trading Post at 8:33 a.m., and at Nakusa Port Edwards State Bank at 8:44 a.m.
Thank you. We do have, I believe it was reposted with an addition on the agenda. Including that, do I have a motion to approve the agenda as before you?
Motion to approve as presented.
Second.
Motion and second, any discussion? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carried. I'm going to dispense with number 5. We just said the Pledge of Allegiance not too many minutes ago with the same governmental body. Item 6 is citizen comment. I did have one inquiry here and directed that individual that what they want to talk about is an agenda item, and I will recognize that individual when we come to that agenda item during the meeting. And with that being said, I'll dispense with reading the requirements for that part of the meeting. Moving on, no action contemplated except possible referral to future agenda. Item 7, information updates, meeting recap, recent correspondence, current events, and announcements. Bob, we'll start with you.
Mr. Chairman, I have nothing at this time.
Although, looking at what's going on in the town center,
I was going to do that for the next one.
okay, do it there. We'll smile the whole time until you get to that. Mr. Rock.
I have nothing at this time.
Sorry.
I do, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to take just a few seconds of tonight's meeting to recognize our Nakusa Ambulance Service. At last week's Visit Rome, Wisconsin meeting, it was mentioned that the week of 4th of July was really hot and humid, and out at Sand Valley they had a number of patrons who succumbed to some sort of heat exhaustion, heat stroke. The ambulance service was called out there on at least 4 different occasions. 3 of those patrons were transported. One actually was med-flighted. It was noted by the Sand Valley staff and by the patrons about the professionalism, the expertise, and the compassionate care that they each received from the crew of the ambulance service at any given time when it was called out there. So I think it's been a tremendous benefit in the time and the energy and the money that was put forth in getting the new police EMS building established, and it is we are reaping the fruits of those labors, as Jamie mentioned in the annual town meeting, in a reduced response time on average of 7 minutes. So thank you to our ambulance service, and thank you to the public and the board of directors at the time when they were able to approve the new police EMS building.
Thank you. Department and committee reports. Madam Administrator, do we have anything to add other than what we've already received in our packet?
Not unless there are questions, but I think that's where Mr. Supervisor Markite would like to bring up Parks and Rec.
Okay, we're still smiling.
Still
Go ahead, Bob.
Yes, as Jamie Geller mentioned during the annual meeting, our park is proceeding with development over there in the business park. We are working to develop a great lawn area right now, and we hope to have grass growing in that area and have it sprinkled by the end of August. So everything is moving along very well. We're within budget. I hope to carry at least 1,000 over next year. Looks like we can easily do that. So kudos to our budget spectacular job. Great community over there, taking out all the stumps and getting great grass. So we're doing that along next year. Our goal will be to go to the man shell, the restrooms, and the
Most excellent, thank you. Anything else, Jamie? Thank you. Moving on, discuss and possible action on the following items. Discussion and action approval of the June 18, 2020 and June 26, 2020 meeting minutes. Do I have a motion to approve? Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion on the minutes for these two meetings? Additions, corrections? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Item 10, discussion and action. Checks, vouchers, receipts, and journal entries. Approved checks number 41873 through 41957, totaling $142,401.33. Automatic payments totaling $31,391.14. State, Social Security, Medicare withholdings totaling $36,818.17. Payroll vouchers V15522-V15647 totaling $89,707.95. And checks 21590 through 21593 totaling $3,029.50. Receipts number 20906 through 21036 totaling $105,964.39. We've all had an opportunity to review these. Do I have a motion to approve?
Move to approve the checks, vouchers, receipts, and journal entries as presented.
That sound good?
Okay, we have a motion, second. Any discussion, questions? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Item 11, discussion and action. Now, we in the annual meeting, we heard quite a bit about this. Approval of resolution number 20, authorizing the issuance and sale of $10,470,000 taxable general obligation refunding bonds, Series 220A, which I believe nets us the savings in excess of $1.3 million. Is there a motion to approve this sale?
Move to approve the sale of the bonds.
Second motion.
We have a motion and second. Any discussion?
We do have Greg Johnson from Ellers on the line joining us. You were provided tonight our press release from Louise with our AA3 rating. The sale day report from the Ellers, which I think Greg would just like to walk you through a little bit this evening. And in addition to that, the resolution and letter from Corals and Brady for the sale this evening. So Greg, I'll let you have the floor for a little bit if you want to talk through that packet of information.
Sure, thanks, Jamie. Good evening, everybody. The sale day report includes the summary of the bond sale that was conducted this morning, just to kind of recap the purpose of this bond issue. It doesn't include any new money for projects. Its sole purpose was to refund or refinance the state trust fund loan that had been secured several years back for the development incentive for Sand Valley and Kid District number 1. So we are prepaying that loan, paying it off in full, or to take advantage of more favorable interest rates available in the bond market. So the bond sale was conducted this morning. We took bids. The total number of 8 bids was received, which is a very strong number of bids. We received bids from not only within Wisconsin, but also throughout the country. The winning bid was submitted by Bankers Bank of Madison in partnership with Coosa Port Edwards State Bank. Came in with a true interest cost of 1.3115%. The total debt service savings from 2031 to 2032 is $1,335,506. Those savings are about $7,000 or $9,000 higher than what we had estimated and presented to the town board last month. So certainly interest rates are quite favorable That's a pretty significant amount of debt service savings over the remaining life of this loan. In terms of what this means for the tax criminal finance district, we included in our sales data report and the updated cash flow analysis of the district. We projected some increment value within the TID district for some projects that are anticipated to occur over the remaining life of the district. Those values could be realized, it could be more, it could be less. But if those values are achieved based on the debt service savings that's incorporated by this new funding, the TID district could actually close 1 year early. Be a big benefit to the town in terms of getting all that increment value back onto the tax rolls. The one other item I wanted to touch on that Jamie alluded to is the town's bond rating from Moody's Investor Services. Town applied for its first bond rating, and to get a AA3 rating, not a first-time rating, is a big accomplishment. I want to commend Jamie and Amy for the exceptional job that they did on the rating call. They did a very good job representing the town, providing a good overview of all the good things happening in Rome, and certainly laying out all the good financial decisions and the good financial positions that the town finds itself in. So certainly the AA3 rating was a good benefit for us today, and that'll be a benefit to the town going forward, leads to our own future. That rating certainly helps lower debt issuance costs. So the action that's before you this evening is the resolution you just adopted. Again, it's for the $10,355,000 for reduce the bond issue size based on lower cost of issuance. So very good results today for the town. We really appreciate the opportunity to work with the town in this transaction. I'm happy to answer any questions.
We have a motion, second, any discussion? I think sometimes things work out for the best, and with interest rates down, refunding this was a huge benefit to the fiscal health of the town of Rome. So, thanks to Greg from Ellers, Amy, and Jamie again for all the work on this. And sometimes you're in the right place at the right time doing the right thing. And all three things lined up, and thank you so much. Well, maybe I'm jumping the gun. We need to approve this yet. Anybody else have a question? All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Thank you.
Thank you, Greg.
Thank you. Have a good rest of your evening.
You too.
Item 12 is another financial matter. It's approval of resolution 20, designating 2019 fiscal year budget carryovers to 2020. In the packet was a listing of those dollar amounts, basically unassigned money that's carried over from year to year for emergency purposes and cash flow, and then some additional dollars where we did not spend full amounts and line items in the budget. Do I have a motion to approve this resolution?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and 2 seconds. We'll go with Jerry Reisinger on this. Discussion?
I have one question, Jamie. I see the full period was 1.65. We never budgeted, I think we're projecting about 1.5, 1.60. What happened to these?
I would assume it was just less expenditures last year.
Oh, it didn't work.
Oh, I'm sorry.
One thing,
We still increased our fund balance, so I'm not sure.
I just went back for a question.
Yeah.
We can look back at that and let you know,
Thank you.
just to see if it was something specific that maybe we're not thinking about at this moment.
Any other questions, comments? All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. aye, opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Item 13, I did have a request from one of our citizens in the audience here to make a couple of comments about budget priorities, and I would invite Bob Ness, if you'd like to come up here and shout so we can all hear you.
No microphone necessary? Right, there's
I'll put it over there for you then.
Happy safe.
What we're doing in this part of the meeting is simply discussion, and we're building our budget for the next fiscal year, which is the calendar year, which starts January 1st of 2021. And we try to get as much of a head start on this as we can so we do the best fiscal planning possible. And we're at the early stages where we're gathering information. We do go through a very comprehensive process where we do have special town supervisors meetings where we actually go line item by line item, department by department, as that budget is built and put together for next year. So we're, from a board standpoint, we're in the initial phase. From an administrative standpoint, they've been working on this for a while. So I just wanted to clarify where we are in an initial discussion. I'm very happy to have Mr. Bob Ness wants to make a request as we consider the budget.
Yeah, thanks, Mr. Chairman and distinguished board for the chance to speak about this important topic. So I'm requesting the board to consider increasing the 2021 Firewise budget. We're consistently rated very high wildfire risk by the DNR, and the reasons are obvious that I'm making this request, but I'll summarize regardless a few items. Citizen safety, it's obvious, but still. Property destruction potential, assistance to those that are unable to perform Firewise related activities. Some people want the strength or maybe a trailer. Maintaining the aesthetics of the beauty of Rome. Heaven forbid we have a major fire, it would kind of destroy the area. Proactive enforcement of the dead timber and brush ordinance, and preservation of property value and associated revenue to help fund all these great projects underway, that are going to be planned and envisioned in the future. Okay, thanks for your time.
Thanks, Mr. Ness. Madam Administrator.
So I included in your packet just a memo to start the budget process conversation for this year. I noted that right now we're discussing with other municipalities what they are looking at for wage increases and health insurance increases. I did note in there that the Rome Professional Police Association did negotiate a 1.5 for next year, so that will be figured into the budget. But just on the health insurance, again, it's just important to note that our loss ratio runs over 100%, so we do expect there to be an increase there. I also put in there some information about COVID. I think that the long-term effects of what that potentially means to the budget remain to be seen. We are hopeful for the routes to recovery grant will cover those expenditures. So the next meeting, we would present you a calendar of potential dates and times like we've done in the previous years to work through budget planning. But this memo is also just a way to stimulate the conversation if there are budget priorities that you also want to see, that if you can send those to us ahead of time so we can start to prepare and see if those could fit into next year's budget.
The loss ratio, we have no new significant additions this year. This is just carry over.
For health insurance, that runs on an annual basis. You might be talking about the workers' compensation. This is our last year, knock on wood, of a higher premium. Yes, that was a 3-year look back on that.
I guess the goal every year is to balance that budget and have minuscule to no impact on property taxes if at all possible. We went several years with no increase from the town of Rome. Now, that doesn't mean your total taxes didn't go up, because there's other taxing bodies that go on your property tax bill. But for the town of Rome's part, we went years and years without increasing those taxes at all, when every other governmental body was hitting people. This last year, we had a minuscule, I think, off the top of my head, it was $10 or $15 on a couple $100,000 house total for the town of Rome. So we've been able to maintain, yet constantly meet the needs of our community as more and more needs are identified and people ask for more and more services. So it's really a challenge, but we've been up to it. So it would be my goal to, if we absolutely can't maintain those frozen property taxes, just have a minimal increase and then identify specifically where any additional monies would be targeted in the next fiscal year. And while I'm just kind of chatting here, I feel like I'm on soapbox. Certainly dear to a lot of us is our parks and development. If you see what's going on in the town center, that's primarily grant funded, but it does take a couple bucks on property taxes also to maintain our parks. So we've got that great project going, but I think at some point soon we need to start looking a lot broader than that on needs of our community for parks service throughout the entire town of Rome. 53, 62 miles or whatever we covered there. So 62. So that's my 2 cents worth. Certainly would encourage my fellow supervisors to help Amy and Jamie as they work on this for us before we actually sit down and do line item to give them additional direction. So,
Yeah, I would echo what Bob said about the need for additional funding. We can also do that for fire-wise activities. We can have other residents come before us during this past year and talk about their needs as well. The need is real, and we can possibly find additional support.
John, do you have anything to add at this point?
Question is,
The host tower?
what is the one for that?
So the host tower was included as part of the facade remodel. The mason has come through and replaced the bricks that were the most deteriorated. We did have a change order cost savings on the remodel project. And I asked Virgil, who was the contractor, what it would cost to do a power wash and epoxy paint. That we would epoxy paint it, a similar color to the siding on the building, and that would shed the water better against that brick, especially the brick that now we've replaced on that hose tower. So I'm just waiting back for that estimate from Brickell to see if that would be, we'd be able to do that within the cost savings that we had on the overall project. So it wouldn't cost more than the original bid that we had for the facade.
Okay, I mean, having said that, I'd like to see us consider painting the other buildings or something so that it all looks. Just putting the old police building and trash building, fire building.
It's timely that you say that. They actually were going to paint the old police station last week, but it rained every day in the afternoon, and the one day it didn't rain, it was too humid for the paint. So that one, it should be done before the end of summer. That one was in the budget for this year. So,
Okay, also something we need to consider, so we don't get hit all at once if the fire department has any specific needs. I know the fire chief has been working on making sure he's got the best up-to-date equipment. If if there's anything there. And then, as I was reviewing Chief Mauby's report, I was noting the age of the police vehicles, and I know those sometimes get some pretty hard use, and I don't want to get too far and too old and then get hit all at once. So we need to look at what's our plan for replacing the oldest and most worn out squad car. If nothing else, as a safety issue. So I would hope when the chief comes in that we hear more about those needs, and we don't wait too long to get into that process.
The chief can likely answer this better than me, but we've had a squad on order for about a year. They've been back ordered, and now with COVID, been very difficult to get a new squad.
We've been replacing one squad every year. That's just been
It's been a couple years.
because they're on order.
Just, yeah, it hasn't come in. I think that they said our order is still valid.
We ordered one in October and it's still pending.
Yeah. So we're trying for the squads, yes. We do have in the budget to replace one also this year, but we were hoping to get the one that we had ordered last year first.
From my perspective, I think we're going to talk about chip sealing and asphalt repair. I continue to see a deterioration in our roadways, so I'm going to challenge Brad to take a really close look at our entire town roadway system and let's prioritize 2, 3, 4, 5 over the course of a 5-year plan. So work on those. Last year, between last year and spring this year, it was patchy to the whatever reason, I don't know why. So I don't know if it's the chip seal process or whatever was put down there in the prior years that caused it to delaminate, but we need to look at that and make sure we're doing our best in ensuring that whatever layment we put down is going to stay there for the course of time.
You guys you're hitting all the right points tonight. One of Brad's goals is for a 5-year road plan, so yes.
I agree with Greg Draperson. Our roads not have to be very rapidly. Very, and then.
Yes, go ahead.
Supervisor Iverson reminds me that south of Apache and east of Route 13, we still have flooding along that area there. And I'd like to see some filling along that ditch area to see if we can mitigate that across the road. There are parts along the Apache Road that are higher than the road, and I want to see if we can, over time, build that area.
Is there anything else, Jamie?
That's a good starting list. If you guys think of something after this that you'd like to share, if you could let us know in the next week, that would be much appreciated.
We also welcome input from any community members with any suggestions would be most helpful as we move forward and we build this next year's budget. So, thank you. Brad, I think you're about to be on here. Discussion and action, approval of 2020 hot mix asphaltic pavement patches. And do you have a recommendation?
Yes, you'll see back on July 8th, we took bids on asphaltic pavement patches. We received 2 bids, one from American Asphalt for the $29,553.65, and from Scott Construction for $44,857.80. After reviewing the bids, it is my recommendation that we award it to American Asphalt for the $29,553.65.
Is there a motion to approve that recommendation?
I so move. Second that.
We We have a motion and a second. Any questions for Brad on the bid or the process of where we all have received the information prior to the meeting? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carried. Thank you. Item 14, discussion of possible action, approval of 2020 3/8-inch chip seal. Brad.
Also on July 8th, we opened bids for the 3/8-inch chip seal. We received two bids, one from Farner Asphalt Sealers for $35,125, and one from Scott Construction for $40,861.07. Also, after reviewing those bids and comparing, making sure everything is up to spec, I recommend we award to Farner Asphalt Sealers for $35,125.
Is there a motion to approve the recommendation?
I'm going to approve Farmer for the.
Second.
Motion second. Any discussion or questions for Brad?
I have one question. I think we have 380,000 in budget for road treatment. And I think so far with these, but we have plans for positions. That is,
Go ahead.
Okay. We do have the trip project that Jamie and then John has started to pass. Chad, we are waiting for the county to basically come through and give us the go-ahead of that project as a go. I think we're supposed to hear by July, and something that's come through with that. That is some cost of ours.
it was cost sharing in that.
Yes. Yeah, but there's still this.
But I believe it cost pretty minimal, less than 9,000.
It was a smaller project, but that would be additional road work we had planned for this year. And then Brad was discussing some other potential road work that we could get done. Brad, we talked about it this tonight, but we had some concern about if we got work done to make sure it would have enough hold time before we would get the winter weather. We could certainly budget next year for any funds and carry those forward.
We got money there, I'd just like to see the roads, see it been on the road. Yes, the one we carry forward, just each year they get a little worse and worse and worse.
Go ahead, Jerry.
That brings up a point for me, is that last year this time we were looking at road work as well. Are we relegated to this period of time to look for bids? By pushing us closer to.
No. Timing this year was just because we had transition going on. Now that we have Brad aboard, we will bid those out much earlier in the year. Likely we'll get better pricing and likely would get more work done.
That's one thing I would like to add is we could probably try to bid more stuff out this year. But I'd ask that we maybe carry that money over to next year, because bidding it this late, these contractors are already full. They're going to give you a higher price because they already have work to do. My goal is by next March or April, to have this bid out, so kind of the first one's out of the block. So, not to spend money, if you could carry that over. Great.
That makes sense. Agreed.
Any other questions? All in favor indicate aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Item 16 is recommendation and discussion of possible action. When we purchase fuel, we've been using BP fleet cards, and a recommendation that we change the Voyager fleet cards. We did have a comprehensive explanation and benefits of making that change. Is there a motion to approve this recommendation?
So moved.
Second.
Motion second. We've all had the information to study. Are there any questions? All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Item 17 was a last minute item that came through the Plan Commission as their recommendation. It's approval of recommendation from the Plan Commission of a revised site plan of operation for Rome Town Center to add an accessory storage building to the Lakes Area Christian Fellowship property located at 1167 Alpine Drive, also described as Lot 1 of CSM 6176, with a property identification number of 03001 136-0603. Is there a motion to approve this plan?
Motion to approve the recommendation for the accessory building.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion is second, discussion. Does this building meet the requirements of the town center as far as the landing in and
Same thing as the church,
okay.
got decorated doors. Very nice.
I assume the planning commission will ask that same question.
They did review. Yeah, there was a public hearing on it.
Any other discussion, questions? I know we're wanting to get this building up. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Item 18, discussion and possible action. COVID-19 ongoing town operations update and possible recommendations. Our town administrator.
So I wanted to have a conversation around this, this evening, only because we are approaching an August 1st timeframe where we had said that we would open the community room up here in Town Hall for groups to meet in. In addition to that, Supervisor Hagen had asked for the item to be placed, just to have a conversation about if we wanted to make any other operational changes, given what we know now about COVID. We have posted some updated safety videos on Channel 300 and done some updated safety on our doors here and on the electronic signboard. Obviously, there's been a lot of businesses that have moved to wearing masks, including the Adams County Courthouse. My understanding is the Adams County Board, Supervisor Ness might know this better, is going to have a conversation about all employees within Adams County wearing masks. So, in addition to that, just having a conversation about our meeting schedule now that we've seen an increase here in the county, if we wanted to continue a regular meeting schedule or limit that meeting schedule in some way. So, sort of those three items. I think Fire Chief also joined us. I think you would also have some input on this discussion item.
Should we go ahead and hear from the chief?
Sure.
Thank you. I'm surprised she asked me up here to talk because she called me the doom and gloom guy. It's been demonstrated time and time again with every other country and every place where they have had a well-executed lockdown and forced masks that it has slowed or stopped the spread of COVID. So it would be my opinion that at least to protect my employees, that we should be having masks be mandatory in the town hall, and we should be holding off on any sort of activities in the town hall until we know how many cases the town hall is.
I apologize, Chief. I'm hard of hearing and I have to read lips half the time. And it's kind of hard to do with a mask on. Give me the cliff notes what you just said.
The fire chief would encourage us to require town masks in town hall and require employees to wear town masks. And for us to keep the community room closed until further notice for meeting rooms.
May I, my supervisors along for a suggestion? We could certainly make a motion in a second and move forward on this type of thing. My suggestion would be that the fire chief was an EMT and has a lot of medical training, and our town administrator would be directed to make those decisions on COVID-19 as far as operations of town facilities, as far as wearing a mask or not wearing a mask, social distancing, washing our hands, and if we're to open up the community room here, perhaps things like social distancing would be required. But I think I almost feel if we make a motion and set specifics for micromanaging, and I think this could be handled better with our support if we direct the town administrator in concert with our fire chief to put those requirements together for our town employees and visitors. Is that reasonable and acceptable to my fellow supervisors?
I agree.
Mr. Chair, I think that's fine, except I would like to give a caveat, say that we don't do anything less than what the suggested, it's coming from the White House Task Force anyway, what their suggestions are, which are to mask and facial coverings when we're in public, wash hands, disinfect, and then maintain that social distance. If we do that, then you can follow those rules and come up with an opening or whatever.
Okay, with that direction and consensus on the part of the supervisors of the town of Lone Board, we do hereby direct you in concert with the fire chief to put necessary items in place for operations and use of town facilities. Are you clear and fine with that?
Yes.
Chief, are you good with that?
I am, thank you.
Thank you. And we are certainly all looking forward to your leadership in keeping all of us and everybody in the town as safe as possible.
Mr. Chair, can I add one thing? I'd like to thank our administrator, Jamie, for looking up the more recent information that is coming out, because this is changing on a daily basis, nationally, regionally, and everything else. So I really appreciate you putting up the current information on our website and on the message board outside and everything else. I appreciate that.
We'll share that also with the staff because they certainly help to get that message out there. I'm only one piece of that puzzle, but we will likely add this agenda item back for our next meeting, and we will update our contagious and infection response policy and bring that back just for you to see what we put into place.
Yeah, just an update on,
Yep.
on how you're moving forward. Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you. Items 19, 20, 21, 22, and 23 are appointing members to the new utilities committee. And before we do that, I'd like to take just a second and perhaps give that new committee their walking papers in charge, whoever it is that we appoint here. Certainly, the first thing they have to maintain at the same level or higher are current water operations and service to our homes and businesses. Second, put in place plans as we move forward and we perhaps see some funding for sewer development, natural gas. We're talking here shovel-ready in our community. Broadband is certainly a major issue in rural United States, rural Wisconsin, and the town of Rome, especially with all our children who didn't go to school the last part of the year or this summer. And I did have probably the largest employer in the town of Rome did contact me and was looking certainly in a business how to save as much money as possible with an extremely high interest in individual solar power for that business. They tried to do it on their own and ran into a lot of roadblocks. Just in the newspaper today, there was an article about Gross Solar Central Wisconsin launches fourth year. So there are initiatives this committee certainly has as resources to help as we make this the best community possible and as inexpensive as possible to live here, both as businesses and residents. That being said, I recommend people the town board approves. Should the town board not approve one of my recommendations, then I go back to the drawing board, come back at the next meeting with a different recommendation. So that's by state statute. The first person, item 19, current member of the water utility, Don Easted, is an adult resident, receives water utility service, would have a one-year term expiring May 1st, 2021. Do I have a motion to approve this appointee to the Utilities Committee?
Second.
I have a motion and second. Do I have any discussion? All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Item 20 is appointment of John Paulson, and I believe he's on Camelot, Utilities Committee, as an adult resident of the area of the town where he does receive water from a water utility with a term expiring May 1st, 2022.
Second.
Motion second, any discussion? This is, before moving to Rome, he's a previous town board chair in Milton, Wisconsin, and he's also a retired sheriff. We have a motion and second, any other discussion? All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Hearing none, motion carried. Item 21. Appointment of Kathy Halverson. She is a long-time board member on the Water Utilities Commission. Would appoint her as an adult resident who receives water utility service for the term expiring May 1st, 2023. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion second, discussion. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Item 22 is appoint John Andresi to the Utilities Committee as an adult resident of the area of town where curbside service is not yet available, expiring May 1st, 2023, and he is a current member, or was a current member of the Water Commission. Do I have a motion for that?
Motion to approve.
Second. Motion second, any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Item 23, you're always comfortable appointing yourself. If any other board member would really be excited and they don't currently receive water utility service, I would not have my heart broken, although I'm more than willing to serve. Don't everybody jump off. It has to be somebody that does not receive water utility service. Nope. All right, I got my name here. Somebody want to make that motion?
Make a motion to approve. Wayne Johnson for the water, the utility.
Second.
I have to abstain from voting on this, so I'll make that indication right up front. Any other discussion? Kind of a shade of character, but maybe it'll be okay. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried, I did abstain. Okay, item 24 is consideration to go into closed session in regards to Joshua F. Smith. Joshua present?
Yes.
Joshua, you can stay right there. We have the opportunity to go into closed session and discuss this personally with you. You have the right to demand that it be done in public session. Do you have a preference?
At this point, no, I don't see a difference.
You don't have a preference? Okay, thank you. I would entertain a motion to go in, and we will call you into closed session, okay, and talk to you. I would entertain a motion to go into closed session under section 19.85 subsection 1 subsection B for considering dismissal, demotion, licensing, or discipline of any public employee or person licensed by a board or commission of investigation of charges against such person, or considering the grant or denial of tenure for a university faculty member, and of taking a formal action on any such matter, provided that the faculty member or other public employee or person licensed is given actual notice of any evidentiary hearing, which may be held prior to final action being taken, and any meeting at which final action may be taken. Applicant requests for reconsideration of operator's license for a period of July 17, 2020 through June 30, 2021 for Joshua Smith. Do I have a motion to go into closed session?
Move to go into closed session as per Wisconsin statute.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, we have 3 seconds, so we'll go with Mr. Iverson. Please note that when in a closed session, we are going to take a roll call vote. And I will start with Mr. Weisinger.
Commissioner, yes.
Weisinger, yes. Johnson, yes.
Hogan, yes.
All right, yes.
Okay, at this time, I would invite Attorney John Smith here. Never ever seen her.
Attorney Flanagan, you invite
Attorney
Attorney Flanagan.
And Police Chief Lobby to join us in closed session. We will meet in the boardroom, and we'll come back, and Joshua, after we meet in a few minutes, we'll probably invite you into the meeting to talk to us.
Should I have to do this twice, or do we do as well for the visitors?
I didn't hear you.
Are we gonna have to do this twice, or can we remain in closed session? to discuss?
I think there are significant difference in them. I would suggest we do them separate.
Plus, they have the right to.
Yeah, the other party has a right to public closed also. Okay, we are now in closed session. Please note that we will be coming back into open session to continue the rest of the agenda.
And just a reminder, the WebEx video, the TV video, and might stay live, and the vendor staying.
Now everyone is meeting back here at the closed session. I want 3 years.
Well, I can do the meeting. Let's just see you next time.
How you doing? Not too bad? Staying out cold? I don't
Very vehemently, if we could cut the grass. Where he lives. And as he gets to Highway 13, grass is really high, you can't see the stairs coming inside. I don't know, because on the state of the county, Adams County does, and they just cut it this week. They did? Yes. Okay, but because I thought that was their responsibility.
We did a couple intersections, but just, I know it's getting so bad, Apache and, I'll check it out.
Thank you.
Well, look what you,
Get some of the trash.
so then this is what you,
It'll be
does that make any sense? So why couldn't it point in Texas? We're talking about the next thing. Well, they did. Yeah, but he called them, you know, that's what she does. And they were US officers. So, never mind.
Poor lonely bastard, no.
So anyway, that makes really no sense to me.
So I guess we are.
Well, I'm using, I think that, I mean, I do know.
Facilities.
For the,
Community center.
Soft plastic.
I never saw them back. They're gonna, these kids hold soft hands.
So then, I can't get back to you. Yeah, and it's like, you know, sex. She said, yeah, I finished a plastic, one plastics, she's like, $20. So I was like, $4.45. I said, like, tomorrow, I said, like, I text you. So, like, we talk about. And then, what can you talk to? Yeah, she told me. They just came to the. She said, where is it? She told me. And then she says,
Keep going around that board. Right? Keep making circles.
He's all for that.
If we did something in Rex, it would be like, oh, if you
settle. Well, I took some, they just learned.
Yeah, actually, no, there is, basically, all straight things about it.
I said, I have to go through all the traffic. I should put her in run. She was like, I said, you know, one fry. She was like, you know, fry the first time. I said, we were 2 piece or 3 piece. So I tried to show her, you know, what it is. I said, you can't put that stuff on. So I went out to Walmart yesterday. I checked her campaign free and they said there's only spot for it.
You know what I did? I bought 6 or 8 back of these other, it's just.
Well, it's Coach Edwards.
Not the other 5 to 7 nights of drinking meat. I'll buy in those for that. That's what I told you, it's like they don't make it in cans all of a sudden. Oh, that was, but then all of a sudden, that was all over the place. But I did, I really saw it, but it's all. So at least we're covered for a while, then they're worth. Sorry, I'll wait for it. Don't worry, so what's it?
It's just so concerning.
Yeah, it's hot.
But you know, we're going to look at those trends. So, I
I mean, it is, I just, you think, what's gonna change now? Whatever, I don't, it is. I'm just saying. Getting out more vision because he did, they can't. They want to serve. He made it work. It's fine, don't get me wrong, again, if you're going to go, but kind of pizza downstairs. I think that was the first time I did it. And I was like, personally, it's not that good. What's the big deal? And then I don't know, for years, we got it, we ate half of it. This was so much, we were like, this was good. Yeah, we made it good. It's so good. We're 25, what's $1? Over 25, I look at it, I think they still, we're the next one. We have no chance to get two. Did they put a second to rise?
Yeah, so my sister, well, she's just, to the store, because the mom was doing that, and she's like, you can't get that one. It's a bank order, you already opened it. She thinks she would call the IRS.
I started to do it, not very, I started to try to do it every
She's all right.
So I would start to go
She's
through.
funny,
She didn't get on the water side, I said,
no. But she went to pull
Chad wouldn't get out of the way, but I was big
pull
pull.
out the cameras. And, this, you know, the nurses. That could be the one.
Tough love.
Like the job?
Yeah, I'm so glad. And I'm not, I couldn't do it. I mean, we know the motorcycle work, but we don't They take the fish out. She's just like, there's cameras to work. She's just sitting. I'm not too crazy. I don't know. She's. So I text her. I think space. I think it's space. This is why we need, guy.
We get to fishing on Tuesdays.
Yeah, that's why, because we don't get it till Tuesday.
So,
Leave it in the fridge the rest of the week, right?
so they seem, somehow they seem to think that it would not unthaw.
But the year before that.
No, wait, hold on. Unthaw.
So now they know, I know.
I'm sorry. Go do that, they can come in Friday.
I called like.
Run some water on it. Chad, we know these things, sir. This is why we need you there. Babysitter. Like I said, what if I didn't look? That fish would have been out until somebody went today. Which, by the way, I didn't go before, but I went before, there was no fish back on. So they're supposed to join Wednesday, take it out, they don't go back, that's it. Do the same thing, because obviously they didn't.
Yeah, one thing the Lord would do is to let it while they're working.
I think it's great, because I don't like it. I don't care what it is. I mean, it's worth, you know, well, that's my own work, because like you said, if we just Wednesday, it's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, they would be done on Friday.
Or tomorrow.
I already gave it to you yesterday. Here's tomorrow, you're yesterday.
So they just see
I think everybody's gonna start growing again. We're starting to realize a lot.
this guy walked in, big guy, there's a guy reaching for the I went last week. And this guy walked in last week. He was masked. And the guy said,
Okay, see, I'm losing, it's like somebody going nuts because they were running out of Really?
well, the evil plastic is a don't have plastic, so.
Right. But they may be where they, and they did all the time, just I
But here's my grandmother, was my child with the boys, was all fresh, with his drugstore. And they said, the whole stuff, where we were.
That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard, what's the point? Huh? No. I don't know, I'm not taking it, I mean, if, like you said, the lake's really busy, and somebody comes by that shore, if they could lift that up and shift it, that's what it makes sense. I mean, this is one time one of my daughter's friends putting it away, like, rammed it, and that moved it. If we did that, that's fine too, but either way, it's, the way it was sitting. Yeah, it looks like, oh, get off, stop, and just pull it in. I know, I'm not worried he hasn't been there. To me, the boat looks like it's sitting in the front too, so they might have both shifted. And they're shifting out of that, lifted it. Yeah, but it's centers, it's almost a self-centered system, it's almost like, I mean, it's not, but it is. It's something that even if your hair off, it'll pretty much settle itself in. But to me, it seems like it's, so that to me means part of the lift shifted again. It's gotten pounded with both things off, big boats. That's crazy. Yeah, and they go fast. They don't care.
They were really, really close.
That's bullshit. It's against the law. I gotta pick it up. Right. Oh, my daughter did when I talked to her to me, but yeah, it's against the law. Be that close to shore and speed. Yeah. They came, so, where's Rome that, when that happened?
I always thought, the tourist girl, there's not a channel that takes you to Sherwood.
You can't get your,
You know, it's such a
either camel. You can get a camel at the camel, but not to shore. Water. Because if you go as fast as you can towards the lodge, you know, if you sit that, you might land on your shoulder. 15, 20 foot drop, and then you make it. Yeah, there you go, see? Awesome. That's why we said all the time, I got enough in my brain, I don't need it here all the time. Yeah, I do another more here, and then decide, you know. Now, like, you just can't come outside. But that doesn't mean. Change your code, and I'm like, oh, dude, I'm so sorry. And then I said, by the way, did you give me a picture? I said, no, I took a picture of my neck on the panel. I said, yeah. I said, I don't have it. We're supposed to be getting something. Put me on the list for sure. Stupid, make people sit and go, you know, you just look up, look at it, done. So he's like, oh, my mind must be something more stuff than I change. He's a nice guy. Did you get him? Did you talk to him? Oh, yeah. I mean, all we gotta do is clean it. It's not everything new, man. It's only new. You know what I mean? It's getting worse still.
Thank you for those of you that are still with us through WebEx. We are gonna come out of closed session shortly. If we can hear someone's TV, if you would just put yourself back on mute, please. Thank you.
I would entertain a motion to return to open session under 19.85 subsection 1 subsection B. And we will take a roll call on that. Do I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Motion and second to return to open session. Any discussion? Hearing none. Mr. Barhide, we'll start with you.
All right, yes.
Harding, yes.
Johnson, yes.
Iverson, yes. Weissinger, yes.
We have return to open session, and we'll announce the decision of the meeting that the discussion we had in closed session. I would entertain a motion to uphold the previous decision by the town administrator.
I move to uphold the denial of the upper right.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Josh, you can talk with Jamie a little later about this, okay, more specifics.
All right, I'll talk to you, I'll contact her for my next appeal, so.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Item 25, the board may convene back into closed session under state statutes 19.85 subsection 1 subsection B for considering dismissal, demotion, licensing, or discipline of any public employee or person licensed by a board or commission or the investigation of charges against such person, for considering the grant or denial of tenure for a university faculty member, and in taking a formal action on any such matter, provided that the faculty member or other public employee or person licensed is given actual notice of any evidentiary hearing which may be held prior to final action being taken, and of any meeting at which final action may be taken. Review operational plans submitted by FTB&G Incorporated, also known, I had one of those nights, as Friar Tuck's, has a requirement Class B liquor license renewal. Please note that Friar Tuck's representatives have the right to demand the meeting be held in open session. So before we would vote on the close, I would ask, are you demanding that the meeting be in open session?
Good, yes.
Okay, that being said, we will now vote on the motion to go into closed session. We will conduct the discussion and possible decision in open session. At this time, we have received from the folks at Friar Tuck's some information. And I want, excuse me a minute while I pull that up in front of me. Okay, we do have in front of us, dated July 13, 2020, a revised auxiliary questionnaire and an alcohol beverage license and application. The person making the application submitted to our clerk is Tony Justice, whose address is 2621 Delaware Road in Deltona, Florida, 32728. And we also have received appointment of an agent for the company, Laura Carlson, another auxiliary questionnaire for Chad Carlson. We do have minutes reflecting a special meeting of the directors and shareholders of Friar Tuck's and BT&G Incorporated on June 29, 2020. And those people present for that meeting. One shareholder not present. We did receive a listing of potential hours of operation, basically 4 in the afternoon to 11 at night, with the exception of Friday and Saturday. A manager's schedule, 4 to 7, Monday through Thursday, 4 to close, Friday, Saturday, and 1 Sunday. And we did receive a copy of a employee handbook for Fire Truck, Fire Tax, Home and Grill. And we've all had an opportunity to review this information. Attorney Flanagan, should we ask for an additional presentation by them, or would it be advisable for the supervisors to comment at this time first?
Either would be fine if they have something that they'd like to present to the board.
Okay, I would ask a representative of Fire Trucks at this time, the floor is open for you to address us.
Good evening. I don't really have any questions, I guess, or any comments I wanted to add to it. I was hoping the document itself would be explanatory. It's pretty much a fundamental document that was put together to establish some guidelines so we can have better controls and mechanisms in place to operate the restaurant. That's all I had to add.
I guess I will start with a couple comments and questions, and then I'll ask my fellow supervisors to join in, and then at that point, our town administrator and council. Looking at your employee handbook, I didn't see any verbiage regarding serving or consuming alcohol by minors. Especially by an employee on or off shift, including after hours. I did not see that addressed anywhere in the employee handbook. The other thing that I didn't see in the employee handbook was any background checks that might be run on potential employees prior to hiring. Nothing was addressed in the handbook about any kind of checks. Calling references, checking criminal records, or any of those type of things. None of that was listed in the employee handbook. Also, I didn't see anything, and maybe you would want to address any changes in how you're going to rent the property upstairs from the bar. And I'm curious if the people previously mentioned were whether it affects that. I'm curious if
One of the tenants has left the building, and I think the other one's final day is tomorrow. So they will be out, both of them will be out.
So
One's already gone, one left.
Nothing.
Oh, sorry. So Jesse, one of the residents there is gone. One gentleman is still there. Tomorrow is his last day. He's supposed to have all his belongings out at that point as of tomorrow by 5 p.m.
Okay. The items I mentioned in the employee handbook, certainly one of the major concerns was serving underage people, either during work hours or after we were closed. And I didn't see anything in the employee handbook that advises employees they're not to serve minors.
I think you might be right about that. I don't remember seeing that myself. So we could definitely revise this and provide an updated version.
Okay.
That would have some literature or some language in there that would
And I don't
take
see,
care of that.
I didn't see anything in in here, when you hire somebody, how do you know they're not the kind of person that's gonna do the same thing? What do you do as far as background checks?
Yeah.
That's why we're gonna make them qualify for a Rome service test. You know,
Okay, so all employees will have to qualify for a loan?
we're gonna
That's
ask
correct.
them to do that, correct, absolutely.
Okay, I would suggest.
They didn't write in there, I apologize.
Okay, you need to list that on the handbook before I would be comfortable.
I thought, okay, I think it was on the, okay, it's on the training checklist that they were responsible alcohol service policy test they must pass.
And I would make one suggestion, it's not a requirement,
Yes,
but a suggestion, as I look at hours of operation,
yes,
and you're going, the people you had, you're speaking on your behalf, are basically senior citizens,
Yeah.
and you said that's your primary, that's your business.
that's our business.
But as a senior citizen, I don't ever find myself in an establishment serving liquor at 11 o'clock on a Tuesday night. And man, just an observation.
No, right,
Just a simple
it's rare, but it, you know, sometimes some of the regulars come in a little bit later and stay a little bit.
My suggestion would be, and I got that in front of me here somewhere, that I understand on the weekend staying later, I understand on a holiday staying later, but during the week,
Originally, we were kind of thinking more of all the sports that are going to be going on throughout the, if they were coming back. That some of them go a little bit later, the ball games and so forth. That was really the only thing that we were thinking about when we said 11. That was kind of it. But of course, none of that's transpiring because of the COVID.
my suggestion during the week, unless it's a holiday, that you would indicate an earlier closures to prevent what happened, possibly happening again. And I understand the
Sure.
sporting activities, but right now there aren't any.
Right, no, I agree. So is 10 o'clock okay? Would that be,
I mean, the reason we always did until close is because there's a lot of nights, I close at 8:30, 9 o'clock, you know, and if I close at 11, then I get, well, we came at 10 o'clock, you know, you weren't open. So we always just put it to close, not to stay open late, but to just not get grief that, wow, you know, there's not a set 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock.
But again, my recommendation for your consideration,
Right.
that is not affecting our decision, is that during the week, at least initially,
We'll go to 10 o'clock, I don't have a problem.
I don't know how much of a closing time,
Okay.
can absolutely prevent anything like this from happening again.
And again,
And as your business would grow, and you might have a sporting event in 5 years from now, when the coronavirus is gone,
yeah,
then it would be appropriate to say.
okay, sounds good, we understand.
that's acceptable, absolutely.
Those are just observations, and I'm trying, at this point, not to be judgmental, I'm trying to be helpful.
And we want to, so we open them, we want to do what you want us to do, we're here to do that. I don't have a problem with
I want you
that.
to run a quality restaurant and bar that doesn't have kids sucking liquor on tables after hours. That's what I want.
Believe me, it still makes me sick to even think about it, okay? It's not who we are, and that's no excuse, but it's not who we are, and we're taking steps to change that culture like we talked about. Like you said, we want to make people, maybe not within 2 weeks of employing them, they need to qualify for their own servers, so we know they're clear.
I need to see that in the report.
Okay?
Didn't check,
It's on the checklist, that's why it wasn't in the handbook.
Well, it's all part of the handbook, that's.
Well, right, and the server checklist is in the handbook, it's in the back, and it does say that the responsible alcohol service policy test. So they have to pass that. But I can rephrase it if you want a different option, I want what you want, so.
We want to, you.
So I appreciate it.
We want you to be a very successful business, but I don't want to sit here in 3 months going, oh my God.
Here we are again.
Because, our job is the safety of this community and the children of this community. And
I agree.
I can't live with myself if something happened to one of those kids.
I couldn't either. That's what makes me the sickest of it all, what happened. So we want to do what you guys recommend. We're just glad to have a second chance. And, make you, we want to reopen. We want to
I just want to say-
give our senior citizens a place to go.
I want to say quality voice, but I think I like to do it.
Right, and that's why we're going to have a lot of this, the food. I don't mean anybody can make a drink, we really like the food, and that's why.
Supervisor Iverson had some questions.
all of your current staff licensed through the counter room?
Almost all of them, there's one or two that hasn't finished up yet, that I saw out today. They were told to take care of that during the 2 weeks. I think one or two haven't
Everybody
finished.
completed the test?
They did the online part, they just have to come along with that and sign up.
Paperwork and everything.
May I please speak?
Huh?
There are two people licensed right now in the bar.
There's only two.
Yes, one is 18 and one is 20.
One is what?
18 when it's 20.
Yeah, the two younger ones we just hired now. The other,
But I'm.
Laura's covered, so
You're the
that's
agent, you're
3.
covered, but there's no one else that's applied.
Yeah, and I
They
know.
did the online things, 2 up coming tomorrow morning, who is coming, Sandy and Kim or something? Kim.
There should be 3 because my sister,
Yeah, her
She never-
sister.
She never came back.
what did she need to do?
She had to sign it. She never signed it.
Oh, I wasn't aware that.
She was called twice and she never came back.
Oh, I wasn't aware of that.
She can come in tomorrow, right?
Absolutely.
She's up here, she can come in tomorrow, I didn't know she forgot to sign
She
it.
said she'd be in a week.
Okay, and then, aside from those individuals, any new hire is going to be required as a, for employment, they must hold their own operations.
Yes, we're gonna give 2 weeks, I mean, we're not gonna say per day, but we thought within your first working for us, you must get into enrollment and qualify for their service.
Mandatory.
Mandatory.
Maybe we should add that to the handbook then?
I'm sorry?
That should be in the
Can we add that to the handbook?
Yeah, we'll add it into the.
We'll add it for sure, I
Yeah.
thought it was part of the checklist.
Right now, it's just on the checklist, but we'll put a chapter.
Absolutely.
Yes.
We'll add it through Myers and, that you must within 2 weeks of employment obtain it.
Go ahead, Supervisor. Question for Amy. You said that one of the employees that's licensed is 18.
Yes,
Is that the youngest age to be licensed?
yes.
And that's just to serve or to tend bar, or what is that?
You can do it all.
Okay. So, I'm looking at your policy book, and it looks like it was taken from some place.
Smart zone.
If you look at employment of minors on 4.3, in your policy, you've got minimum age for employment, you've got hours, hazardous job, with, oh, they have to be all these ages there, right?
That's Wisconsin statute.
Right, those are Wisconsin statutes. There's also a statute for minors, that Amy just said you have to be 18 and you have to be licensed. I would like to see that in there, and that's in response to Chairman Johnson's question. I mean, you can add in there, no person under the age of 18 will be serving, selling, purchasing, or consuming alcohol, or illegal drugs, and you can cite that to your other part of your handbook that talks about illegal drugs. You just cite that back, that to me would be a good place to list it.
Okay.
But I would list all 4 things: consumption, selling, serving, and purchasing.
Okay. No problem.
And that's anyone under 18 years old who is licensed. Normally, they come to the bar, you have to
Yeah, I mean, I thought that's how it was, but here you can be 18 and serve.
You can't.
But you can.
consume, so you might want to put in there you have like one.
You may be 18 to serve, but you must still be 21 to consume.
Correct. So that'd be a good place to put that.
Sure. Absolutely.
Okay, another question, I totally agree with the background check kind of thing. Maybe you want to do your own, I know that there's a cost to that, but you might want to do your own on some of your employees too. Ours, you do a pretty good background check, but you shouldn't just rely on us. And the other thing is they ask you, because there was a problem, do you hear the drug testing on your employees?
No.
We have not set a policy regarding that.
Would that be something you should be looking at, maybe?
Maybe so I'm gonna be honest, I didn't think of that. I didn't think about testing people like
I think we'd have to do a little bit more research and understand it for the restaurant industry, how they handle it. I don't know if we know the answers and the intelligence to say, you know, the right way, wrong way, how often or whatever, but if it's something that they do that's a standard, we would definitely be interested in looking into what that is.
I was just thinking at the beginning, when you're hiring, process.
Again, I'm honest, I didn't think of that with everything, all the other things, I didn't think about testing people coming in.
One thing you should do when you're going back to the David and they have to sign that law, you ran on a drug test. That way, if they have a problem, you're not gonna wanna sign it.
Right.
Otherwise, it's subject to the drug test anytime you want. Not have to do everybody comes.
Right, but certain view, again, that's fine, you can implement that, for sure.
Some is used in a lot of really, criminalize the policy.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I know that you've got-
That's a problem, right, yeah, we won't sign anything out working for us, so, that's, okay.
Just to throw something out there, everyone, we've made some suggestions, we've made some pointed suggestions. I don't want to belabor this, but I'm gonna, let me make a suggestion to my fellow supervisors and then kick this around and maybe it makes sense and maybe it doesn't. I think my comfort level would be such as if the items we specified in our discussion here appeared in the employee handbook. We had those operator license applications all in for current employees. And you brought an updated employee handbook. Okay, first off, all applications are in by Friday. That's tomorrow.
They're in, right? I mean,
You only have three people run that.
oh, that, okay, that, those, I thought you meant liquor license, all that stuff, no, okay.
All
the
those
rest
are,
you did.
all those are in tomorrow. You have this handbook updated with everything we brought up. You have your new closing hours during the week for now. And you have that by 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. In our clerk's hands, she can hand you your license.
Okay.
Well, that's just my opinion. We've got to hear from everybody and hear from council.
If I may, Mr. Chairman, so I don't have any opinion on the handbook or the hours or those pieces of part of your own decision and deliberations. What I would like to speak to is the other part of this, which is their application. I'm going to ask Amy to chime in if I'm either getting anything wrong or omitting anything, but my understanding is that the membership of the court has changed. And we received an application. The application itself is incomplete and incorrect in some areas. And it needs to be resubmitted, and you're going to need to have 18103, which is the auxiliary questionnaire, submitted for, I believe it's all the agents and members of the corporation. Is that correct?
We did do both numbers.
Your minutes state that Lori is a director. Your
Lori?
minutes- Your minutes state that Lori is a
Lori was
director.
removed, is what it should say.
No, the minutes state under her name, signing. You all have the minutes in front of you. They state that she's one of the board of directors. It's a, I can't remember the title, what does it say?
Minutes of special meeting of directors and shareholders.
Again, I had my lawyer take her, what I thought was taken off of
Do
completely.
you have a copy of the document? I should give my
Yes, the document says she's a chairman, a shareholder, and a director. signed on June 29th.
Act as chairman. And then, I think we should have so hereby waive notice of time, place, and purpose. And she signed off on it all, didn't she? That's what I had the lawyer do. I wanted to get her completely off of everything and make Tony president. So I thought this was stating she was that, she is not anymore.
Read out under her name,
Director and shareholder.
director and shareholders was right under her name on the list. And she signed.
Right. But it's a waiver of that. That was her
I think
title.
that's the
She's-
waiver of the notice, isn't it?
This is waiver of notice of special meeting
So
for board
there's,
of directors.
under chapter, I believe it's 181, there's some notice requirements. Those can be waived. So what they're doing there is waiving the notice requirements in order to meet and take certain actions. That's what she's doing now. I believe that.
Right, and then look at the next minutes.
Which is the minutes of the special meeting for the directors and shareholders. And they did make a motion where a new president and vice president were elected. And Lori signs as both the secretary, chairman, shareholder, and director.
Who was that, who is now not.
That doesn't say that on here. That's what that happened that day. She signed it as those types.
I'll have to contact Robert Krisak, because he did that, he's the agent for the corporation, and that's, I guess it's just worded wrong, is what we're saying in a way.
No.
Well, if she's not, I mean, either she is or she isn't. I mean,
She's
that's-
nothing.
That's,
That's why
we
I-
just need to be able to know that she's not.
He has to review the language.
He just has to read the
So
language.
She is removed.
Because she is removed, and that was one
So
thing.
that was, it was definitely a concern.
Okay, no, I get it, I misread that, because I thought that was saying that she signed off on those things, and now Tony and Chad are now president, vice president.
And so then with the other individuals that are listed, as president, vice president, that have we received 18103s for those individuals?
Yes.
So are there any individuals that we have not received 18103s at this point? Besides,
No.
okay, thank you. That's, have they updated the, I know there was an issue with, it looks like there's a red line that was over an address.
I did that.
Okay,
I screwed up and put the FTV&G address instead of his home address. That was my fault. She caught it, I said, oh my God, no. Tony has been on liquor license since the day we opened.
You've also
Yes.
listed that he's continuously resided in Wisconsin for 2 years.
Right, I made a mistake. I mean, the corporation has resided at that residence for 2 years. That was my mistake. He became president of FTV&G. FTV&G has been at that address for 2 years. That's why when she caught it, I'm like, oh my God, I'm sorry, I screwed up. His address is on the old one. I just, for mental, I don't know why, I just put it wrong.
Mr. Flanagan, was that correct?
so it would be my recommendation that they do correct it. I mean, and right now it's just red line. It'd be,
I would
if this is the most recent, or, yeah, just, yeah. And right now
How
it's.
do I feel about clean forms?
She said she changed these.
There's still one place that he's listed as living in Warwick Court.
And it looks like a simple fix, you just.
Yeah, no, I don't have a problem doing it. Like I said, I screwed up and put the FTV&G address.
To be perfectly honest, the biggest concern I had was a director that's not listed here, because that isn't something that can waiver, that's statute, right? You have to list it. And so if that is, if what we're seeing here is incorrect, it just needs to be corrected.
Okay. Yeah, which I will call him tomorrow morning, and I want it right, trust me.
Trying to get you open tomorrow.
Please, I need to. I will call the lawyer and have him fix it right
Can
away.
you also ask what Tony's last name is?
Justice.
During the hearing, you swore.
I have a hyphenated last name, Justice McFarland,
So should the documents reflect Justice McFarland if you have a hyphenated last name?
Well, okay, so I inherited this situation, I did not create it. My mother
had me, and she was not married, she married. And so when she got paperwork together, she had Social Security number put together with Justice Dash McFarland. So I had to report that as part of my identity, because it's on my Social Security card, even though it's not on my birth card. They're trying to get it taken care of through Social Security. I can't even tell you the whole storyline of it, which you may imagine, but it's also possible. So that's the reason why I had Hockley Leslie, because when I was growing up, I had taken the gentleman's last name through high school, college, and so on. So that's the reason why I did this.
Mr. Steiner, are there any other?
So what I was just doing was I've got your corporate records for your corporation. You had mentioned that your attorney is the agent, and that's not what I have here. I have actually that Bill Swanson.
I'm the agent?
Yes.
Okay.
So the reason I was looking at this wasn't like to say gotcha or anything like that. What we would need is something signed by the agent for the corporation talking about, listing all of the members and directors in that. That's why I looked this up to try, so I didn't say we need it from your attorney. Your attorney can, I advise you to have him help you draft it, but the agent is who should sign this. That's what I was looking for. So I do have you as agent for this corporation.
Okay. I thought he was the agent. And years ago when we set it up, I thought he was gonna be the agent.
He'll still write it up.
Yeah, you can write it up there, just make sure you sign it. That way we can confirm that that's who the registered agent is.
Okay.
So you gotta get that.
I'll get him tomorrow. Oh, I will try.
We have another question.
Absolutely.
Supervisor Roberts.
The map or the schematic here for the building, that I did look at it, and there was a lot of small writing, a lot of separate, that was having trouble
You want me to
understanding.
read it? Yeah, am I right?
So, what I want you to
That's
say,
right. Just rewrite it on a separate piece of paper for you? I can do that. Or type it out so you can read it
Check it
better.
out, maybe everything. Here's my question. The apartment upstairs, do they have access to the bar, restaurant area?
And I came to the town when I finished upstairs and asked them, how do I do this right? So I walled off the third bedroom from the apartment, so you couldn't get into what is now our storage element. I put a separate entrance from the outside into that room. So there's only one way in and one way out. You cannot get to the bar or to the storage unit from the apartment. And it's always been that way, I just obviously didn't word it that way when we did it.
So the storage unit is still going to be listed as part of the ordinance?
And it is, yeah, hard to read, but
And that leads me to my question. I just want to check with the clerk. The premises that they list, is that just listing the storage on the second floor? Is this?
No,
accurate?
as written, it would include the apartment.
Okay, so then if we're not including the apartment, then you're saying the premises as written?
As written, I would be licensing the apartment.
what do you,
Making sure that you understand that. You listed, so you described your premises,
yeah.
and what the clerk treasurer is saying is that your description of the premises on this document would include the apartment.
Yes, the way it's written, I would include the apartment in your
Why
apartment.
would we say it would include the apartment?
Because you don't say it's excluding anything, you included it. It clearly says state your premise.
And it says second floor.
Second, but, okay, the lawyer said we put it in parentheses, and I don't know what that means, but he said we put it in parentheses, that's what we should put upstairs. All it says is second floor, two-bedroom apartment does not have access to second floor storage or first floor bar restaurant, in parentheses, that's all it
Well,
says.
and that,
Maybe it should just say exclude.
Exclude.
yeah, exclude second, why don't you say, yeah, exclude second floor, two-bedroom apartment, which does not have access to.
And I asked him, why are we putting in parentheses, and he made it sound like that shows that it doesn't include it. I'm not a lawyer, I'm not trying to say excuses, I'm just saying, I sat down with the attorney for an hour, and and came up with this description. I want what you want, because you cannot get from A to B. And we did that for a reason, obviously, you know. So we can add exclude second floor, take out parentheses.
Yeah.
What you would do?
Well,
I would say keep the parentheses, but put the words.
It's not what I would do. I would just ask the clerk treasurer to review that when you receive it and make sure that that is only listing the second floor storage.
I type whatever they submit.
I-
So
I-
if that's what was submitted, that's what I would type, and that's what would be licensed.
I understand.
I can't advise them.
Okay, so exclude second floor.
I would just, so Attorney Flanagan is the town's attorney. You
Absolutely.
need to deal that piece with yours.
We got it.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Absolutely. We
I
got
already
it.
wrote it down as a note, so that's why I'm ready to keep moving.
Okay. We'll do that.
Mr. Chairman, if we could just revisit the handbook, I would just note for the supervisors, it obviously was used from another place, and I think that, given your conversation tonight, that really needs to be read through, proofread, and pieces that do not apply to a bar and restaurant need to be updated. It was not proofread before it was provided.
Do you have specific guidance that you're
Yeah,
referring to?
That was pretty specific to restaurants.
You know, we just went to a site that sells forms and services that have this pre-built, and we can assign it for our own needs. So that's, you know,
In several places, it refers to your human resources department and manager. If you do have a human resources department or manager, listing out that individual would be helpful.
We definitely have a manager.
You have a human resources manager. It says that you need approval from the president, CEO, and CFO, and then it must be signed off by the president and CFO for all of your at-will employment. It talks about that this class of employee is usually an executive, an administrator, or a highly paid specialist such as a programmer. It talks about your accounting department. The pieces about minors was already covered. It talks about your company vehicle and your company provided cell phone. And all of the pieces on the server training checklist on the back, the server training manual and the test, it would be nice if you included all of those tests that you're providing, that you're having the employees take before they are approved.
Yeah, I agree. It's taken from somewhere else, it's obvious to me too. And it should be noted there that it was adopted from someplace. So
I have 3 copies of that. Programmers from one of our software companies. So, they are from the owner, from one of
We
the.
need to personalize it more, basically.
I got the same impression, I think, as Jamie did, that you didn't really go through this very carefully. And this is really important to you. As somebody who was in an administrative position, I know that other people on the board here have been in the same situation. I had to know that handbook. And if you don't know what's in there, as a manager, how do you expect your people to follow? You better know what's in there.
That's what we're trying to do. Yes.
Is it possible for you to get all these things done by 4 o'clock in the morning?
I hope so. I mean, yeah, it's just basic changes, I think so. I mean, it's a question, of course, if I can get in touch with a lawyer and see it before 4 o'clock, I think would be the biggest thing.
Well, let me amend my suggestion, there isn't a motion now, that we would direct the clerk to issue a liquor license when several things are brought forward from either her or the county administrator, including a specific correct handbook with all of the items mentioned this evening, new hours of operation, and that we have all the servers' applications turned in to the
to provide a schedule for increased presence on site and camera monitoring. We did receive a statement that the manager's schedule would be from 4 to 7. This statement doesn't include who the manager is. It also just has a statement that Bill will be up here as much as possible, and I really think that the intent of that was to say from this time to this time, this person is monitoring, or from this time to this time, this person is on site. I did discuss with Bill on Friday that we thought that this should be strengthened, and include specific people that were taking times at the establishment.
Managers, I even put the manager's name on that, which is Laura Cross.
But the manager is also there till 7, and the issues that occurred, we know occurred after 7 p.m.
Doesn't say when you're monitoring the cameras, who's monitoring them. There's no schedule for monitoring the cameras, and I thought that was one of the
Well-
conditions you all put.
I mean, I look at the cam, if I'm not up there, I pretty much look at the cameras, but, you know, we're ready to be closed earlier, I would fall asleep by 12 o'clock, so I didn't see stuff like that, no excuse, that's just the fact. But I watch the cameras as much as I can. Unfortunately, I have a 16-year-old daughter that I have 50% custody of in Illinois, and so when I'm with her, I'm not up here. When I don't have her, I come up here. So if I'm not here, I try and watch the cameras, which I'm obviously going to do a lot more now, but I mean, I can't say, you know, if I have a meeting for my daughter's school or something, I will miss that, but then I call Laura and say, hey, will you watch? I'm not watching. But I mean, it changes so much that it's hard to say I will specifically watch exactly this hour, this hour, this hour. We're just saying we're all going to watch it
We
more.
have 4 people that have it all connected at home,
We have,
with laptops, on our phones, so we can monitor the cameras literally while we're talking to you right now.
And I mean, again, I don't know that a meeting for school would be at the same point in time when we've been experiencing issues.
well, no, we won't be open when those issues occur. That's the one way we're going to cure that. And to do that, I think different, better employees.
You're
But-
open till midnight.
Huh?
You're open till midnight, those occurrences occurred at 11 p.m.
You're open until
Oh.
midnight and they occurred.
Oh, on the weekend?
Yeah.
Okay, well, if you want us to close earlier on the weekend, I mean, I will if I have to, for sure, but.
I don't want to even have to say.
No, I don't, but I mean, I think it was a question of our employees and not a question more of policy. I'm not arguing with you, I'm just saying, I think it was more a question of the people took advantage of us, you know, and took advantage of their status and the bar. And they're gone, and we're not gonna have people like that in our bar ever again. You know, like I said, we're gonna make these people qualify through Rome. Like you said, maybe we need to do our own background checks, which I don't have a problem doing. I just, like you said, make them go through Rome, check, and they should be okay.
The onus is obviously on you to control it, however you set it to it.
The onus is
So
on
the
you
onus
to.
is
Yeah.
obviously on you.
That's what I'm saying, and that's why I'm gonna be on
At
those
least you can
cameras.
control it however you see fit. And-
Right.
I would also say that if this issue comes before the board again, it's not, I would imagine the board's not going to be a sick thing to the end.
Attorney Flanagan, would it be legal for the class supervisors and administrator herself to go into closed session for a few minute conversation?
Without it having been noticed, it wouldn't be recommended.
Well, I think our goal, you know, based on what you guys have told us, is that we revise the document. We get a little bit tuned in. What happens to the document is the first one. First one, Bill has that to be in charge of the panel three. You just give the contact of how we have it done. Okay. The paperwork, whatever is necessary, we can get that taken care of immediately as well. Even if we don't have Bill's lawyer, we have other people we can lean on to look at the document, and get whatever's written, so it's written properly, so that Lori definitely is being referenced as removed from the corporation. Those are the things to start with. You know, we'll try to put together additional documents that you're asking for in regards to, you know, putting the tests together. I don't know if you even really know what the tests are yet. You know, just kind of looking a little bit.
I actually do. We've been making them take it for the last 2 weeks. You know, online, take this service test and food truck test, actually both of them on. A couple of them just haven't come here yet to apply for the program.
Well, I'm talking about, our internal things that we do to train and test what they want to do. So we have to come up with that. And we have that
If
ready.
I may, with the supervisors, I'm just not comfortable at this point with blessing this opening. They have a lot of work to do yet. And I think the level of what we need from you, we have not received yet. Based on a handbook that obviously was borrowed somewhere else, all the examples and things that didn't even apply. Signatures,
People who got
paperwork.
that have done relief, in my opinion, would be approved license pending you receiving all the proper documents, application and documents filled out correctly for ordination. And
Is that to Amy or to us?
And I'm not saying him, give them 30 days, bring handbook back. So it can,
How many days?
30 days.
30 days.
Put together all the inspections that we're asking for and revised handbook.
Could we,
As long as they're legal to, all take,
could we increase that, but we also take the approval of the administrator? Yeah.
right. Okay.
So as soon as appropriate handbook is presented, all the paperwork is correctly done, and at which time the clerk and administrator receive that to their satisfaction, they'll hand you a license.
I'd like to, just maybe argue a point, about the 30 days. I think that they've already had all the time to put this together, to have this completed, like you said, it's 2 weeks. Should be able to get this done in 2 weeks.
What happens if they don't have it done within 15 days?
Well, then we're gonna have to go for, this is good, I don't know what Jerry's planning for.
We'll have it done. Now that we know exactly more specifics, again, we will have it done.
The important part is that paperwork, that application, needs to be correct. It's very important.
Basically, that address thing is the main thing you're talking about, and
The address,
verification on the second floor.
the directors, any directors need to have 18103s, which it sounds like they do if the one is off. The premises needs to be, you can list whatever you want for premises, and that's what the clerk is saying. My recommendation would be, if you're working with an attorney, to have them review that premises.
Yeah, and that's what he came up with.
That,
for me,
that
but I-
application is really good. The premises won't break your application, let me put it that way.
Okay.
But the application, there's other pieces on that application that are definitely deficient.
But it was as simple as putting excluding the second floor the way I worded it, right?
Again,
That's
attorney
your
clients, town's
Okay.
attorney.
There
Well,
are,
I did it with the attorney we came up with, so I'm just trying to make sure I do it right, you know what I mean?
understand, the big concern is to make sure that your directors and members of your corporation
The lawyers.
are accurate,
Okay.
okay? And any directors and members of your corporation need to have those 18103 auxiliary questionnaires. You need to have correct addresses and correct references to how long you've been members of residents of the state. An accurate application, that's by statute, that's not just.
Absolutely. I screwed up the address. I got
Okay,
it.
so
And
we-
wording.
Do you have that form so we can redo it?
Yeah, but it has to be notarized, so.
It's on the state website.
Let me ask a point of, actually a point of order. We seem to have reached somewhat of a consensus on what's needed. Can we leave it at that, or do we need to make a motion and vote on that consensus? Or are we good with, here's what needs to be done, folks. Who's gonna approve it for you? As soon as they're good, you're gonna get your license. Well, is that acceptable?
So the only question I have, just to double check with Jamie and Amy, is when this, after deliberation and when you made your motion last time, was the approval to be from the board? If so, then I think you're going to need action if you're going to now vest approval of that employee document handbook in others.
In order to
Yes.
say upon completion of the next item C, the satisfaction of the administrator and clerk, we will handle the license.
Your original motion after our hearing was that items would be submitted to the clerk treasurer by July 10th at 4 p.m. to be distributed to the town board supervisors for discussion and possible action. And we did identify tonight's meeting, July 16th, town board meeting, which will be immediately following the annual meeting. So I would say that your motion indicated that it has to be to the town board's satisfaction.
Correct. So the way that reads, it was you all that had to ultimately approve it. And so if what you're saying is there's these, X, Y, and Z missing, application needs to be resubmitted, those things. And now you're saying that and approved by, or as deemed sufficient by the administrator and clerk treasurer, you probably should have a motion that states to that effect, because then it won't come back to you, except as an update.
Would you give us a motion such that which you have something in mind? I would each understand it, that the clerk has it written down to help us through this, so somebody can say, yes, that's the motion, and second. Yes, Chief?
From what I'm hearing, I would make the recommendation that the town issue this license as a provisional license. That gives them the appropriate time to do their work. Correct me if I'm wrong, Nick, but I believe we hold the right to issue a provisional license that we can allow to expire if these things aren't followed through with. If this board issues a license tonight, they don't have to follow through with anything, because unless it's a violation of one of our bullet points in our ordinance, we don't have any enforcement action against the policy, but that's...
I think the only way we can do the provisional, we could do it, but it would still be if they submit that application. I think we still need to get that application right. The provisional piece would be with related.
Correct, but I believe the administrator could issue a provisional allowing them time to, because there's no way you're gonna get a book with that many changes done by 4 o'clock tomorrow,
Right.
it's lumped together.
That's your understanding as well, right? I believe they can issue the provisional. That provisional is 15 days, I think. And so that, but it would only be issued upon receipt of a completed application. And, yeah, and approved, right? I mean, we still have to deem it approved. Meaning that all the agents and the members of the corporation are listed, that we've got auxiliary questionnaires, and then we ran them through the background check. So we still have to have that application and approval.
Yes.
You still need a copy of the corporate minutes showing Lori being removed?
Yes, unless you're going to submit an auxiliary questionnaire for it. Am I to have all your employees get licensed tomorrow too?
That,
The two remaining will.
Well,
Two.
two of the three will probably win it.
we can't require that.
Can't require it, as long as they have one licensed person on duty. Otherwise,
I know, I'm asking for the motion because everybody kept saying that, and I'm trying to keep track of what I need to make them do tomorrow.
I'm trying to be realistic.
Well, and we can't require them to have everybody.
That's something we want to do.
That would be part.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, but it sounds like the manual is going to state that.
Right, we're gonna give them 2 weeks to get it once they get hired. Once they get hired. Okay, 2 weeks to
Ask again, court counsel attorney Nicholas Flannery.
All right.
Would you quickly write down a motion and then read it, and then let us consider if we'll make it the second of
Well, he's ready. I like what Jerry said. The 30 days, the reason I said 15 is because the board's going to meet.
That will agree in a month.
Yes, and then we will be able to approve it if we have, that's the only reason.
I want to get the legal act in place, so we can utilize it legally. But they have 30 days to come back with handbook, everything else.
See,
to do is to get you open, Mike.
Trust me, I appreciate that. I'm sorry to screw things up.
We have to do it by provisional, 30-day provisional, we can do it that.
Wednesday, 15, you're at 15 minutes.
Keep in mind, I have to have the time to type up the license and do all that, so if they come in and don't give them till 4 o'clock. Because if I won't have time to type it all up and get everything together and approve it and go over and review it,
What time do you need it by? Does it work for you?
I mean, the application's a question of changing the address, really, and then having my lawyer just review the one section of the. Right,
Yes,
yes,
sure.
sure. Right, and I can, we can reword that, it's a question of putting Tony's right address. But then he has to have it re-notarized with that,
1
so you
o'clock.
still have to have that notarized again?
She's told you 1 o'clock.
If we can get it notarized here.
Right, no, right, but I'm saying it was notarized, right, so we need to get a new one.
What time do you guys open up in the morning?
8 o'clock. But you can go right online on the Department of Revenue site and you can fill all your forms out. That's how every other bar in town does it.
So
And
you
you
don't
can
have to-
type in the information so that it's not handwritten and it's a lot easier.
Department of Revenue?
Yep,
Okay.
autofill.
Okay, well, we can do, but then we still obviously have it notarized, right?
Yep. You print it out and then you bring it in.
So I'm going to be in Michigan tomorrow.
So the provisional can only be for 15 days.
Thought it was for 15.
I'd have to look up the.
Yeah, I'll look at it, in just a moment, I'll look it up.
Yeah, the reason I said that is because I'm surprised the board's gonna be, so the 15 days.
We are going to be for 15 days, and I never know, but that's once a month, and then twice a month.
If you kept a regular, your first and third, because today would be the third Thursday of the month, your next meeting would be August 6th, which is more than 15 days.
Or say however many days it is between now and.
That's why I said 30.
Sitting on the phone tonight. Tony has to be in Michigan, so I'm gonna have to be at his house, at his office, at 8 in the morning. So he can go get it notarized, and then bring it back up.
Well, so please, I'll look up that provisional.
9:30.
Let me try to get you an answer on that provisional.
How many days?
Provisional's up to 60.
That's what I thought.
I'm seeing up to 60. So,
We can make 30 days for it.
Hopefully we'll get it to them, so that's my plan.
It's 20 days to the next board meeting, if you meet on August 6th. I mean, you could meet on July 30th.
this thing's got some kind of bugs. So, yeah, I got 30-day provisional.
Can I ask a question, Rick? Does that mean that that's not a renewal then? Because that would be a new license you're approving?
You're asking because it would be then
An
the
available liquor
publication,
license?
well, it would be the publication
Yeah,
process.
then I'd have to have it 15 days before we publish it.
And don't you have to publish it for others to apply?
Are we better off to redo this, right?
I don't know. I'm just bringing up the question.
30-day clause.
But you can't do anything if they don't meet those requirements. You can issue it, no, you can't, not based on that.
Well, what if you, on that renewal, you just delayed it because the way that our ordinances were, the clerk treasurer may issue a provisional license for up to 6 days or until the retail license is issued.
Right.
So if they renewed it effective 30 days from now, you know,
I don't know, that's why I asked you.
because renewing it effective 30 days from now just makes it renewable. Assuming that they have the application, because that condition is all on the application being sufficient.
Are you okay?
What? No, but it's okay.
If we renew it, and they don't meet all of our requirements in 30 days, and we revoke it, because they already have to go through 30 points in
And go through the revocation suspension process? Yes. That, to answer your question, yes, we could, but that is a process. Again, like non-renewal is a process.
We would repeat the hearing process that we went through.
All they have to right to request it. Actually, no, I think it's,
No.
no, suspension and revocation is not a right to request a hearing, it triggers that process. And then we see them, and the right to appeal to communication at some
What I'm
point.
looking for is a way to pull the license if they don't comply with the 30 days. See, they already have 250 points, not
Yeah, that is, if you're asking if we can go through the revocation suspension process, yes. It certainly gives them reason to get this part right. I mean, actually, the law says you have to get that application right. But this other part of it is, there's certainly reason.
The documentation for the license has to be right before the hearing.
Yes, period.
Other terms that we place on the handbook that shows that they could have 30 days to write that to us, otherwise we could suspend the license based on.
You start the suspension revocation process.
Hopefully that's not going to happen. I'm just, Amy was concerned once we issue it, we can't revoke it. Well, in this case, we can because they've got a record of 250 points on it.
Do you have a motion for this?
Well, I do if it is provisional, but I'll give, I also do if okay, I have both. Which one do you want, provisional or renewal?
Provision.
You want provisional?
No, no.
I recommend renewal, because we do have a way of revoking it later if we have to.
Right.
Yeah, 30 days.
I'm a little confused.
Agree with that, Bob?
Yes.
So a provisional would, the technical piece is that a provisional would mean that that gives a period of time to then issue the license. Because of that, it triggers certain notice requirements, and it's treated like an available license. Is that correct?
Yes.
Therefore, not saying you can't do that, but if you go through the provisional process, or part of this, it needs an available license that.
Somebody else could come and take the license.
And the other was a renewal with 30-day clause, provided they have all the proper documents.
Come up with one second guess, and then within 30 days, we can say, we'll keep the license again, that's what we have to do.
Yeah, but hopefully we won't have to.
Obviously, that's not the goal here. We want
If you want to read the motion to reissue the license.
It would be a motion to approve the granting of a renewal of the Class B liquor license, conditioned on submission of the alcohol beverage license application complete and deemed approved by the clerk treasurer, and providing proof of all corporation members and officers as attested by the agent.
By 1 p.m. tomorrow, that would have to be supplied.
You want to make that part of it?
No, we have to be,
Could we have the two, is it possible, they give you enough time still?
One.
Okay, when are we going to get the, when are you going to get the updated handbook?
And then 15 days for an updated handbook, including the tests that are listed on the checklist,
And hours of operation.
hours of operation, and monitoring schedule. Okay.
And that will be approved by the administrator?
And the clerk treasurer.
And the clerk, and the clerk.
Okay.
You know, that
I
becomes.
thought that would come back to us on our next board. 30 days.
Well, if we, so your next board meeting, if you did 30 days, your next board meeting, if it is on August 6th, would be 20 days. So if you want to see those items back at your next board meeting, we can make a special meeting on July 30th, or they could be approved at the August 6th meeting.
We say 30 days.
You can go to August 6th, because that's 20
that
days.
was like me.
So if that's going to come back to them, then they don't need to make this necessarily part of their motion, they just tell them in 30 days it needs to come back.
It'll be 20 days, because it would go to the August.
20 days, that's fine, we want to get it done as soon as possible,
So
absolutely.
we gotta get it back to you sooner than that, so that you can
Put it in the packet.
So that motion has to expand to include that, right?
So the motion would also include that by July 31st, they would have their updated handbook, including employee tests, updated monitoring schedule, and hours of operation for approval by the town board.
When you talk about 10 o'clock during the week, is 12 okay for Friday, Saturday, or do you want us to close earlier than that? I want, so we do it right.
That's something.
That's okay?
That's fine.
Okay. Again, I just want to make sure we got it all right.
It's not beautiful. You want me to read it again?
Yes,
Do my best, but I'm going to ask Jamie to give me the included pieces for that handbook. Because I couldn't write that fast. It'd be a motion to approve the granting of the renewal of Class B liquor license conditioned on the submission of the alcohol beverage license application complete and deemed approved by the clerk treasurer by, are we going to put a time in there? By 1 o'clock. July 17, 2020. And providing proof of all corporation members and officers and attested by the agent. Also, to provide by July 31st, an updated handbook, including
An updated monitoring schedule of the property and cameras and hours of operation.
for approval by the town board.
Could I have a
So,
motion?
wait, can we add something in our,
That will be in the handbook.
That's a-
Yes. I'm going to trust her list.
Did I hear a motion?
I did.
And did I hear a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and second. Any additional discussion? All in favor, indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Thank you.
Dates and items for future agenda meetings. Next agenda items, other than normal business, is there anything anybody would like to add? Yes, sir.
I'd like to see an updating the children ordinance or a resolution of the activity over there in Boston Park.
Definitely, sir.
And it would be my recommendation that somehow we require the resident of the village to remove tree structures or the nursery structures.
Just to manage expectations, the ordinance part of what you're asking for is a zoning ordinance, and that requires plan commission approval before a public hearing, before recommending to the town board. So I can almost guarantee you that you will not see an ordinance.
That's fine, as long as they have.
A report.
Train, we want to train on the track.
I
Absolutely.
don't understand how they have a permit process. That's the enforcement, so I'm sure that's
I just wanted to make sure you weren't expecting an ordinance.
Structure doesn't meet the requirements of the business.
I'll be meeting again with the zoning administrator on Monday.
And we'll add that to the next agenda.
Is there anything else on the next agenda, rather than other than addition to normal business?
And we have to use the answers
It's okay. Okay, the next meeting date and time will be August 6th at 5 p.m. in the interest room. Yes, sir, Thursday the 6th, and then I will also hope to, keep us appraised of what's going on in the wrong areas. Long meeting. Anything else, supervisors, is there the order? Doing none. Oh, wait. Thanks, Jason. I know how hard they've been working on a lot of calls, a lot of stuff going on. There's a lot of, and lots of police officers, and that's not something that we out here hopefully do something. We support our officers. I know how hard they've been working on all policy. We support the Rome Minutes, Richard.